Warning: the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Southern Fried Paranormal with Len Dorman featuring Bones. Catch us on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Spreaker, Facebook, Stream, and everywhere else you catch your podcasts. And of course, WLFE-DB.com. Now, from the backwoods of southeast Arkansas, right beside the Bayou Bartholomew, the longest bayou on the planet, broadcasting from downtown metropolitan Cane Creek Township, here is your host, Len Dorman.
I am not, and you haven't heard of things. Wow, I just did the intro. Okay, I was supposed to have a guest on the night, Natalie Creeder. She has got an illness in the family, and I am having a weather issue coming in about 11 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm. We will be under severe thunderstorm warnings. Kind of under it now, but it's not going to hit us till about 11 o'clock. So I'm just going to cut this to a 1 hour show tonight. So I'm kind of talking fast. We're going to move along. I'll show a couple of videos of past investigations, and then I'll go ahead and talk for a few minutes into our hour. Just fill up a 59-minute show. So I can show it again probably Saturday night and show it again at a later date if I want to. Okay, this is going to be from our Illinois Mental Hospital in Peoria. And then we're going to go to another one. I forget where that one's from, but I think it is at Ethel's, I believe. Anyway, we are going to go straight to Peoria, Illinois for 2 videos for investigation. Let's go ahead and do that right now.
3. Now, these lights can go for about 30 feet. See how bright they are.
Wow, that is nice. It's like daytime.
And I can cut these off, and of course you're getting a lot of IR from the overhead lights.
Oh, wow.
In the dark, I just turn the hours back on. In the bag, I've got some UVs and more IR, very powerful IRs. I can flood a small cemetery.
Oh, my.
Really appreciate y'all taking care of us.
They're approaching one of the larger cemeteries at Peoria.
You guys are so important to us. We couldn't restore the old girl without you all.
Okay.
I can't hear you. What?
You're going to go down and turn around.
Okay. You don't have to go down the road. Just drop us off at the road. Put my foot up on that brace just so I don't lose the bumper.
Okay, now you see the light over here in the dark.
Wow.
That's over here, right? Gets some trouble. There's no light. I turn these lights off, and you got not much of anything. Well, you got the street light now.
Right. Man, that must make it nice. Turning around. Yeah. Yeah, we can. We're big, strong girls.
Yeah, notice. It was impressive, Terry.
Good. That's why we have been driving. Gotta mess that up. I'd have pinched the trailer and ripped the bumper
And I'd have backed up 2 or 3 times. Okay.
Everyone's loaded.
Playing with this today? No, you're holding it for the game.
Oh, come on now. You won't let me play with it? It's no fun.
I think they should have done that. Remember the camera. Don't take it.
I just said grandpa. That's all I said.
Okay, you ready? Give my camera back.
No, I like it now. I'm gonna keep it.
Once the basic group goes down, it's the start of the
Like me to carry something for you?
I didn't want to walk out and fuck the police officer real quick.
Huh, what's up?
Hello, how are you tonight? Oh, well, that would be great. It is. He's taking off right now. Thank you.
Okay, so we want to...
We're just starting the ghost hunt. So. Okay, if everybody want to move to the side,
Yeah.
he's going to open the gate so that next group we can drive on down there. They're so friendly with us.
Couple lights there.
Thank you very much.
You did. This light. Okay, you see everybody here in front of us? Yes. Same company, Spectre Ken. He's building a house, so he's out of business for right now. He's already got some new coming out. Give him a year or two to finish his house. Gets his clean room done. And we're going to have some unbelievable little Spectre stuff coming out of Oklahoma. I have a prototype of this light in my bag. He made these special made. My design. I actually requested lights like this, and he made them to my specifications. Then he sold them to the public because he found out there was demand for the things. Walking down the road to the cemetery, lit by a police car. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to be... Now you see what I've got with just the flood on? Not much of anything. Cut the flood off, then cut the spots off.
All right, welcome to Cemetery 3 and 4. Right now we are standing in what's known as the Glory Wall. In the early 1900s, most cemeteries were built with a glory wall. It's down the center of a cemetery, and they used to call it the path to heaven. Well, we believe that all of these patients made it firmly into heaven, and those who stayed behind, we're glad to have them here. What we'd like for you to do is take a few minutes, find yourself a nice place in the cemetery, spread yourselves out, and we'll all get completely quiet so that your EVP work and that type of thing is personal to you. The headstones on this side of the cemetery are completely flat to the ground. Be sure you have a flashlight and watch where you're going. On this side of cemetery number 3 are above ground headstones. A little easier to see, still easy to trip over. So be very, very careful as you walk through this cemetery. The interesting thing about cemetery number 3 is the oldest graves are actually in the center. They started the cemetery and then expanded it out both directions. I know there's been a lot of stories, stones and bodies washing down into the ravine, This is absolutely not. These patients were buried in pine boxes in nothing but dirt. The reason our headstones are so close together is due to the fact that patients until 1964 were buried in the fetal position, much smaller boxes, much less space to put them into the ground. Now, these patients ate much more healthier than we do, and their bodies have decayed and gone a long time ago. The reason we have headstones down in the ravines is kids come into our cemetery, they see how easy they are to break, they kick them off their foundations and carry them down the creek bed. One of the reasons we do what we do is to save this little piece of history. This cemetery has an unbelievable amount of energy. We do believe that caretakers, which were the grave diggers at that time, are still taking care of this cemetery today. If you'd like a name to call out to, we do know that a specific grave digger that remains here on the property is named Frank. So if by any chance you want to call out to Frank and see if maybe he'll talk to you, he just might. But there are a lot of spirits out here that will talk to you if you simply ask. The best thing I would say to do is split yourself up into 4 groups, best you can. You have one here. Have someone walk all the way down the road to the back side. You want to cross and down the road to the other side. We will remain here. We will also remain silent. We suggest when you do talk to the spirit, keep it in a lower voice. That way the other groups aren't picking up your EVP work. If by chance you do hear someone else, don't be afraid just to walk back to us and say, hey, you're too, you're loud. No problem. I have a voice that carries for miles. Miles. So when I think I'm whispering, I'm not. I'm loud. So we do our best to stay completely quiet for you. If you have any questions about anything at any time, you can ask me. Two questions. How did it do this? Well, everyone before that was buried in a fetal position because it actually saves wood.
Oh, okay.
Much smaller coffins, that kind of thing, more bodies in a cemetery. Due to the fact that we have 4,130 cemeteries, they had a lot of people to pack in, but that's less than half of people that actually died here on the hilltop. Most of those bodies went home on the train to their home site. This being such a wonderful location, it wasn't to leave the patient behind safe. As a matter of fact, we were so well liked, we were the #1 institution for 58 years. So well liked amongst the medical community that when the royal family of England decided that they had a family member that needed placed in an institution, this is where she came. Emily Belcher lived here for 8 years. When she finally succumbed to tuberculosis, she wrote a letter home and said, I know I should be buried on the royal ground, but I choose to remain here with my family and friends. Emily Belcher is buried in the corner of cemetery #4. Okay, by all means, spread yourselves out. I will be right here if you have any questions, comments, anything. Again, my name is Chris. If something bad happens and you feel dizzy, nauseous, bad headache, gonna throw up, need assistance, I want you to call out Chris as quick as you can, and I will be there because no one knows this cemetery like I do. All right, it's all yours. Please enjoy. Put you in
Okay, that's taken. Who's in this corner? Nobody. Let's look over here. Yeah, here's that pocket. There.
That video toward the end just showed you how dark it was. It was quite dark in the cemetery. We're going to go on to the second video.
She didn't want him or Rhoda. So she went to Rhoda and said probably she was not really skinny. So she could have been epileptic or anything, we don't know. Her father tried to take care of her, which he did for quite a while, but then could not do it anymore. So she was sent to an almshouse. Now in this almshouse, she stayed there for quite a while, and she was put into a Utica crib. A Utica crib is like a baby bed, but it's the size of like a twin bed, and it has a lid on the top. Now Rhoda could not get out of it. If she had the urinary, it would go down through the slats of boards underneath her onto straw, and the other people in there would take care of her. They would clean her up. They also would feed her in the Utica crib. They said that Rhoda was in the Utica crib for 40 years. Dr. Zeller was one that would always go around and find the worst of the worst. And when he saw Rhoda, he couldn't believe it. She had even scratched out her own eyes during one of the fits, so she was completely blind. When they brought it, so that does it all the time. Okay. So Dr. Zeller decided that this was what he wanted to send back to the asylum. He sent her back on the train with all the other ones that would have come back here. He himself drove, so when he was on his way back, there was a mudslide, and he couldn't get there to meet the train. But the other people that worked here and the nurses would meet the train. Well, they got all the patients off the train, and they saw a large basket. Well, when they saw this basket, they thought it was just clothing and sheets and things like that some of the patients had brought with them. When they picked up the basket, it moved and moaned. There inside it was Rhoda. They brought her up the hill, and the nurses immediately fell in love with her. They felt so sorry for her, for the condition that she was in, considering that all she had done was fall in love. They cleaned her all up, they put new gowns on her, and they cleaned her all the time. They never complained that they have to clean her soiled bed maybe 10 times a day. She could talk a little, but mostly she mumbled, but she loved chewing tobacco. Since she had been in the Utica spread for so many years, her knees were drawn up to her chest, her feet were turned in, and she walked on her hands. In the picture I saw of her, she was very, very thin, which made her hands look enormous. But that's how she got around. There's people that say they have felt Rhoda their pant leg, usually men, because that's all the bigger she would have been, would just be enough because of the pant leg, and asked for chewing tobacco. Rhoda was here at the hospital, up on the hilltop for 3 years. She contracted tuberculosis, and she died after 3 years of being here. She was probably in the Pollock Hospital during the time of her death because that was for tuberculosis patients. This is where she is now, but it's a very sad story that all this young woman did was fall in love. And there are actual pictures of her. There is still a living family members that have verified that this story is true. So it makes you really feel sorry for what this woman went through for 40 years in the Utica. So you're welcome to walk down into the cemetery, visit her grave, and visit some of the other places that you'd like to. If you have any questions, just let me know. Rhoda Dairy.
The couple left really close. And this is all this left.
And be careful on this hill because it's getting slippery now. It's getting very slippery. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, it's slippery with the dew and everything. It is getting slippery.
Okay. Well, we're the last group.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, my ride's right there.
Okay.
So all you got to worry about is those two getting back to their car.
Okay.
And so when you're ready to leave, holler at us. And instead of riding back in the hayride, we'll just jump in his car right there.
Okay, that was a very good ghost story we heard of a very unfortunate soul down at the Peoria investigation. So now we move to Chicago, Illinois, to I believe the Ethel's investigation. And let me go ahead and load up that video right now. And we're halfway through a less than an hour long show. I got to hold 59 minutes to be able to show it again. So let's move on.
But remember, I've got a fresh battery and it's still reading full charge. No, it's not. Right here. Right here. Huh? There's a wire hanging down here.
Oh, okay, it's a wire.
Uh-huh. That's it. Okay. What the? What the hell?
Something this fall.
Huh?
Something this fall.
There's nothing here.
Yeah, but something just fell down.
No, something hit me in the nose and knocked my hat off.
You can't.
No.
Something dropped.
That was my hat. But it hit me in the nose first.
Something fell out of the ceiling.
The ceiling's right here. There's nothing here.
And just knocked your head off.
Yeah, I was putting this wire over here.
Yeah.
This is 3 feet in front of me.
Right.
And I was sitting back down like this. And when I got about partially seated, something hit me in the nose. And then I looked up to see what the hell hit me in the nose. It knocked my hat off my head.
I saw that something fall, but I wasn't sure what it was.
My hat, but something hit me in the fucking nose. What the hell? Now why are you picking on my hat?
Excuse my French,
Okay,
sir. I was a little bit excited.
So see, when I look up, the hat doesn't fall off. Something hit me in the nose here, and just went up, and somehow missed the light. I don't know how it did that, and tipped the hat, and knocked the hat right off my head. What the hell? And you're not picking up anything on thermal, and I didn't see anything in the full spectrum.
No, I didn't see anything.
Place is crazy. This is even more than I expected.
This is your second time, right?
First time overnight.
The second actual time you've seen it.
Oh, I've been here several times.
Oh, okay. This is very close place. Let's go back there again.
This is Michael Clean's 7th most haunted bar. He's top 10 haunted bars in the state of Illinois. It's about to move up some.
Oh, definitely. I saw Excalibur like number 1 or something.
No, the old red line is number 1.
Old red line?
The new red line is a little bit haunted. They brought a piece of the bar from the old one. And the woman that used to hang around the bar,
Yeah.
the old red line, now hangs around the new one. Because I bought the piece of bar that he's connected to.
Isn't there a cowboy?
Yeah, the old one, yeah. What the hell is that? David? Must have been the Coke machine, Coke things out here. Because they got CO2 tanks. Ooh. I'm getting chilled and headaches coming back.
Yeah, that I'm too. Something like pounding on your head.
Something in here likes to communicate telepathically. What are you trying to tell us?
I feel like it's jumbling up your thought.
Uh-huh.
Get it right now.
Was this a resting point for you after you died? If so, why are you still here?
Can you not find the portal? The light to go to the other side?
Okay, this is the mean one. This is the one that the others are.
Old man?
This is the one that they're scared of.
where it's scratched.
Yeah.
Thinner.
Huh? Yeah. I didn't tell you I'm a little bit telepathic. I once cheated on a test in college. I go on and got drunk the night before. I got to study. And the teacher was there, had the answer sheet in front of him, checking answers for other people's test. And I just mine and read the answers. Was that bad?
Okay, everyone. Get back to here I am. Okay, Lindor, we are 35 minutes into our show. This was a couple of previous investigations that I been on. The first two was at Peoria. The second one was when I was the first overnight investigation that I did of Ethel's Party Bar, and it ended. I get my hat knocked off my head, got my nose thumped rather soundly, as you heard, and I was investigating in the cold room where the bodies used to lay, waiting on their funeral, and come to find out that room, through later research, is haunted. Was haunted. I've later cleared him out of there to finish off that case for me, by Bruno Rodi. He was holding about 20-25 there in Ethel's Party Bar, and we got him to release those, and he got to where he could move. He could not leave the bar and was mostly in the cold room, which is in the basement of the bar. No employees wanted to go down there. The Coca-Cola guy would not go down there without somebody working with him, or if he was by himself, go down there with an employee. He would insist the bartender go down there. The bartender, who told me they'd never lost a fight, would refuse to go into the cold room, and she wanted to put a light down there on a later investigation, and she literally turned on the light and kind of tossed it in the room. She would not spend any time at all in that cold room, even though she would go downstairs with other people. She would not go down in the basement by herself. That was a severely haunted location, and unfortunately, that place is completely empty now. They did some restoration outside of the building, keep it from falling down, because it was €100-some-odd building there on the edge of Chinatown at 26th and Wentworth. That used to be one of the big mortuaries in Chicago, and Bruno Rodi's funeral was held there in, I believe, May or June of 1956 is when his funeral was there. Over 1,000 vehicles were in the funeral that lined up there on Wentworth. And Bruno Rodi ran the 26th Street gang, which is until Al Capone took it over when he came from New York. And he was Al Capone's one of two, and with the main one, bomb maker for Al Capone. If he wanted a car bombed, if he wanted a house bombed, Bruno was the usual one who set that off. Is that he actually made money, extorting money from people by threatening to blow up their house if they called the police or didn't pay him the cash that he wanted. So he'd make a great deal of money that way. And of course, Al Capone paid him a great deal of money to do the same thing, extort people or get rid of somebody that he wanted to get rid of. Right now, we're going to do a little advertising. Spirits in the Ring, Paraflix Paranormal Expedition Entity. That is The show is that's their TV show. You've got to get Paraflix Paranormal and subscribe to that to watch the show Expedition Entity. And Expedition Entity, this is a episode from their show, Broadhead Manor. And here is a Paracon in September 15th and 16th, 2023. This coming fall. FW Paracon. Again, Expedition Entity will be there. If you watch that show, please subscribe. Just look them up. If you are subscribed to that and watching the show, you might want to join them at Paracon. Okay, this is a Paracon, Spirits in the Spring again. Some of the guests, you can look at that at a bigger screen and see some of the guests they're going to have there besides Expedition Entity. Broadhead Manor, April, this is March, April 22nd, just a month away. You might want to, they give you a discount for the food donation. So you might want to contact them and see if you can get in on this. Broadhead Manor, Spirits in the Spring, 2023 Paracon at Broadhead Manor, own location. Imagine going to Paracon. It's in a haunted location. And here's where they were on the show. Midnight Paranormal Society, excuse me. The Great Lakes Paranormal Conference, September 22nd through the 24th, 2023. Here's some of the guests. You'll recognize some of them, including my friend Dave Schrader at the Old Limburg School. So go there if you can. With Dave Schrader, he's always a good time. My neighbors are firing up. I thought there was thunder. Anyway, let's go back to this. This is supposed to be this week's show. That's why there's Clover's in the background. She will be on the show, Natalie Kira, next week. So she will be once again part of our Women's Appreciation Month. And to end it all, Michelle Snelzer Jennings will be on the 30th to end our Women's Appreciation Month. Okay. I got less than 20 minutes. I got about 15 minutes. I can keep going. I completely forgot about this one. And I'm supposed to be going to this one. FearFest Paracon, New Orleans, October 2023. Exact date to be announced. Exact location to be announced. This is put out by a friend of the show and a guest on the show before, Phoenix Jansen. She is a chairwoman of New Orleans FearFest Paracon 2023. So if you're in the New Orleans area, try to go there. And Phoenix will be there among many other people, including several of the Southeastern paranormal shows. And everybody probably doing a live show or at least a recorded show there. So there will be quite a few people with cameras around live interviews. I'll probably be doing some myself at the table right there from the floor, and hopefully have some time after the con because I guarantee I will be staying in a haunted hotel. If I go to New Orleans, I'm staying in one of the older hotels that does have a haunted too, and I will be investigating that. So I may be doing a couple of investigations later in the evening. Oh, one more. Gypsy Soul Holistic Fair. This is for last year's, but they're supposed to be having one in April in Hot Springs, Arkansas. They also have one in Texas, like this one's announcing. Also have one in Oklahoma. Times will be announced as soon as they give them to me. I will pass them on to you. I'll try to make the Hot Springs, but due to several unfortunate events in my life, probably will not be able to make that event. And to show you, I do attend some events. Here's me at an event in Chicago. You know, good old boring Maine. At Ursula Belsky's Ghost Paracon. One of the last ones, in fact. She's not doing those anymore. She does her shows and storytelling on YouTube now. And let's see what we got. Okay, this is from the Humphrey House. This was an original photo taken in 1863 of John Humphrey and his wife, his bride, Amelia Patrick Humphrey. The reason this is relevant, they had a daughter, their firstborn, born in 1865, died at 11 months and 4 days old. And she is buried in Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, which is why Amelia is the White Lady of Bachelor's Grove. I've since kind of solved that case and kind of dehaunted Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. Sorry, guys. But I talked Amelia into moving on. Poor Libby May couldn't move around. She finally learned that in dealing with me and learned she could move around and go places. Her mother, quite surprised at her finally learning this after well over 100 years, was happy. Instead of walking around crying, stuck in an old cemetery with her firstborn child, the child learned to move. If she could move, that she did not have to wait for the child to go get the child like she did almost every night. And I told them to go see the world, to chill out, go see the world, and live a little. So as much as dead, they are out and about, walking around like neither one of them did in life. This little shot from the Irish legend. And we'll leave Chicago, Illinois, I think. Yep, going down to New Orleans to the Old Wax Museum here. There's some wax figurines that are no longer there. These were taken before they started tearing it down on Sunday and sold most of the stuff off by Monday. Most of this stuff is gone, disassembled, and probably in places around the world. Showing some of the famous historical things in New Orleans. This one did not take place in New Orleans, this thing. This is, for some reason, the wax artists thought they'd have some fun. So they made a wax figure of Napoleon Bonaparte and a bathtub. So go figure. And there it is. That is one figurine. If I had the money, I would have bid on, because I would have, not sure what the hell I'd have done with it, but I'd have figured out something. I mean, how many times do you see Napoleon Bonaparte in a bathtub? and some other decorations and signings and history from New Orleans, because that's what it was based on. Some of the history of New Orleans. As you see tonight, I've investigated Peoria, Chicago, Bachelor's Grove, New Orleans, and I've done some investigations here in Arkansas. All right, that'll do it. Do that. And I guess I'm just going to go and cut the show off. We got some heavy weather moving in. I've got slow internet already. I will probably will deteriorate in the next few minutes, and I can only run a 59-minute video anyway, and I'm at over 50. So it's going to go ahead and cut it off, get out of here. Remember, next week we will have the guest that was scheduled for tonight, Natalie Creeder. She was scheduled for tonight, but she had an illness in her family, and I'm having weather issues moving in as I speak. So I knew I was only going to get an hour, maybe an hour and a few minutes of decent show. Had we gone to a 2 hour and a few minute show, I'm not sure. I will have no guarantees of keeping electricity on around here when we have a bad thunderstorm, to say nothing of having internet. Now, she will be on next week. And the week after, Michelle Snelzer Jennings will be on the show in 2 weeks on the 30th. All right, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Sorry to cut it short, but with the guest canceling just a couple hours for showtime, and with the weather moving in, I did not even try to get a substitute guest. I didn't spend a whole lot of time putting a show together at the last minute. Didn't have the time. Put together some videos real quick so I could show them and tell you all about a couple of things. And that's about all I got. And we are going to get out of here before the storm starts to hit, because it's fast approaching from the west. Texas, this is stuff Texas in us. So, Bones, get us out of here. But just remember, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, the paranormal never sleeps. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching our show. Be sure to tune in to next week, as once again we journey way down south into Bayou Country for another heaping portion of Southern Fried Paranormal with Len Dorman and Bones. Make sure to like, share, and follow. Y'all come back now. You hear?